Hello, I'm Oliver Colling, and this is the My 70s TV Childhood Quiz. Hello, and a very warm welcome to the first episode of our new quiz. In response to your demands for more 70s TV childhood related content, we've launched our quiz, which will appear for you every other week alongside our normal schedule of fortnightly episodes. It's new, so please let me know what you think on social media or by emailing quiz@my70stvchildhood.com. So gather round whatever device you're listening to this on, grab a pen and paper, and let's get going. If you need graph paper, then just put your hand up and an invigilator will come to you. We'll be having 4 rounds, with 5 questions in each round, testing not only your knowledge of 70s TV favourites, but a little bit about what was happening during the time. So that's a maximum of 20 points available. The answers will follow on after the last round. It's just for fun, but do try and beat your friends and family for bragging rights, and there will be a question at the end to test you against other listeners. All clear? Well, let's play. Our first round is called Spin the Wheel, and questions will be on TV shows during a particular year, and at great expense we've built the Wheel of Fate, which I'll spin to see which year pops up for our questions. Okay, let's spin the wheel. Round and round she goes, where she stops nobody knows. Oh, and it's landed on 1975. Round 1. Question 1. One of my favourite cop shows, The Sweeney, was launched in 1975. Jack Regan and George Carter were the heroes, but what was the name of their boss? One of my favourite shows, The Sweeney, was launched in 1975. Jack Regan and George Carter were the main stars, but what was the name of their boss? Question 2. Fawlty Towers also began in 1975 to great acclaim, but how many episodes of the show were made? And the clue is, perhaps it's not as many as you think. Question 3. Some shows ended this year, and amongst them was one of my favourite game shows as a child, which ran from 1967 to 1975. It was made by ATV, and its presenters included Jackie Ray, Norman Vaughan, and Charlie Williams, as well as one other very well-known host. What was the show? So it ran from 1967 to 1975, made by ATV, had a very famous host, as well as Jackie Ray, Norman Vaughan, and Charlie Williams. Question 4. On 23rd of April 1975, the original Doctor Who, William Hartnell, sadly died. But how old was he when he died? And question number 5. The most watched TV show this year attracted 22.66 million viewers. What was it? So 1975's most watched TV show attracted 22.66 million viewers. And what was the show? Okay, so that's round 1. And our next round is designed to see how many of you paid attention to our previous episodes, and all of the answers can be found by listening to episodes in our archives. This will be a regular feature, so I'm going to call it the Fil Rouge, in memory of the recurring round on It's a Knockout, which was known as the Marathon in this country, but by the rather more sophisticated title of Fil Rouge when the show went European as Je Sans Frontières. I won't try and do Eddie Waring accents, but this will be a recurring feature. Are you ready? Then let's play. In our episode Saturday Night's All Right, I mentioned that my mother made the same dish every week without fail for our Saturday tea or dinner or supper, it all depends where you live, which was the only meal we ate in front of the television and in front of shows like The Two Ronnies, Kojak and Starsky and Hutch. But what was the meal? Was it A. Macaroni cheese, B. Fish fingers and chips, or C. Spaghetti bolognese? So what was our Saturday night dinner each and every week? Was it A. Macaroni cheese, B. Fish fingers and chips, or C. Spaghetti bolognese? Question 2. In our recent episode about the children's show How, who did we fondly remember sitting smoking a pipe on screen? Question 3. Which children's TV host of Play School and Fingerbobs claimed that marijuana was like cornflakes in terms of its availability during his time at the children's department in the BBC? Question 4. What was the name of the public information film featuring a sports day held on a railway track, which gave me and many of my fellow pupils nightmares? So what was the name of the public information film featuring a sports day set on a railway track, which gave me, and I can still think about it now, giving me nightmares? Question 5. In our first episode featuring 1970s TV ads, what was my number one advert for the decade? Was it A. R. Whites and the Secret Lemonade Drinker? Or B. The Cadbury Smash Aliens? Or was it C. The Hovis advert with the boy on the bike freewheeling down the hill? So what was number one in my list of top 10 70s TV ads? Was it R. Whites and the Secret Lemonade Drinker, the Cadbury Smash Aliens, or the Hovis advert? Okay, so there we are. And for our next round, round 3, we're going to go on to general knowledge. And I'm going back to the wheel once again. After all the expense of building it, I'm determined to get my money's worth. Okay, for the second time tonight, let's spin the wheel. And it's landed on 1979. Easy one to start with, just to lull you into a false sense of security. Who became Prime Minister of the United Kingdom in May 1979? Question 2. What was the average house price in the UK in 1979? And I'll accept answers to within £5,000 either way. What was the average house price in the UK in 1979? Question 3. The most highly rated TV show of 1979, with 23.95 million viewers, was the Christmas edition of To the Men Are Born, where Audrey Forbes-Hamilton and Richard de Vere finally got it together. But what was the Christmas number one record that year? And here's a clue. It's not exactly very Christmassy. So what was the Christmas number one record in 1979? Question 4. On the 19th of March of this year, which porridge star died at the tragically young age of 31? Question 5. And on the 26th of June 1979, the 11th James Bond movie and the 4th starring Roger Moore was released. But what was its title? The 26th of June 1979, the 11th James Bond movie was released, but what was it called? So that's the end of round 3, and how are you doing? Grab a few peanuts, get another drink, resist the temptation to pick up your phone and have a look for any answers, and let's go on to our final round. And our final round is called TV Times, and it's really an open TV trivia round featuring questions from the whole of the decade. Eyes down for a full house? Here we go with round 4. Question 1. Where was the perennial school holiday TV favourite, The White Horses, filmed? La 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 la. Sorry, I always have to do that whenever I think of that programme. Question 2. Who presented the BBC's children's film quiz Screen Test between 1970 and 1979? Who presented the BBC's children's film quiz Screen Test between 1970 and 1979? Question 3. In the Hanna-Barbera cartoon show Help! It's the Hair Bear Bunch, where did the bears and their keeper Mr. Peevely live? So where did the Hair Bear Bunch live? Question 4. During the 1970s, who lived at number 13 Coronation Street? Who lived at number 13 Coronation Street? And our final question, question 5. What phrase did Ron Pickering use at the end of every episode of We Are the Champions to signal mayhem as all the kids taking part jumped into the swimming pool? So what phrase did Ron Pickering use at the end of We Are the Champions? And that's it. So that's our 20 questions. And whilst you're checking your answers, let me give you our bonus round question. If you email me your answer to quiz@70stvchildhood.com and it's right, I'll give you a shout out on the next quiz. And I will let you have the answer by return. If you don't email the answer in, I'll share it on our next quiz programme. Okay, back to 1975 that we were talking about earlier. It was the year that Runaround came to our screens, hosted by everyone's favourite Cockney geezer, Mike Reid. Now, Mike was a bit of a strange choice to host a children's game show, in my opinion, as he seemed to spend half his time shouting at the poor kids as they tried to put their coloured balls into the right tube. Well, in Runaround style, I'm going to give you 3 facts about Mike Reid, of which one is not true. Can you tell me which one? And the facts are: A, he had a #1 UK hit single. B, he introduced the famous bare-knuckle boxer Lenny McLean, aka the Governor, to acting and helped to get him a part in Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. And C, he was president of Chelmsford City Football Club. So one of those is not correct. A, he had a #1 UK hit single. B, he introduced the famous bare-knuckle boxer Lenny McLean to acting. And C, he was president of Chelmsford City Football Club. Right, I'll leave you pondering on that one, and let's move on to the answers. Back to round 1. In the Sweeney, Jack Regan and George Carter's boss was Haskins. Fawlty Towers, there were only ever 12 episodes of Fawlty Towers ever made. The game show hosted by Jackie Ray, Norman Vaughan and Charlie Williams, as well as one other, that ended in 1975 was, of course, The Golden Shot, and the other host was Bob Monkhouse. On the 23rd of April, William Hartnell died, and how old was he? He was 67. And question 5, the most watched TV show of the year, attracting an incredible 22.66 million viewers, was The Royal Variety Performance. God help us, we were easily pleased in those days. Okay, round 2, onto the Fil Rouge. And here's the really important question. What did we have as a family for Saturday tea whilst watching TV? And the answer, as those who were listening will know, is C, spaghetti bolognese, which my mother cooked for us each and every Saturday for many, many, many years. Question 2. The pipe-smoking presenter of How was, of course, Jack Hargreaves. Question 3. The fingerbobs and play school presenter who claimed marijuana was like cornflakes was Rick Jones. And, I'm going to shudder thinking about this, the public information film featuring a sports day held on the railway track was The Finishing Line. And question 5, in my own selection of top 10 ads from the 1970s, the top one was, of course, B, The Smash Aliens. Round 3, 1979. Who became Prime Minister in May 1979? It was, of course, Margaret Thatcher. Question 2. What was the average house price in the UK in 1979? And I said to within 5,000 either way. The answer, and please, if you're a homeowner, just be sitting down at this point. The answer is £13,650. Can you believe that? The average house price in 1979 was £13,650. Question 3. The Christmas #1 of 1979 was that very unchristmassy record, Another Brick in the Wall, Part 2 by Pink Floyd, so well done if you got that one. Question 4. The porridge star who died at the tragically young age of 31 was, and I'm sure most of you got this, Richard Beckinsale. And the 11th James Bond film that was launched on the 26th of June was Moonraker. And on to round 4. Where was The White Horses filmed? It was filmed in Slovenia. But before anybody argues, we will allow Yugoslavia, given that Slovenia was part of Yugoslavia at that time. So Slovenia or Yugoslavia will do. Question 2. Who presented Screen Test between 1970 and 1979? It was, of course, Michael Rodd. And in the Hanna-Barbera cartoon show, Help, It's a Hair Bear Bunch, The bears and their keeper lived in the Wonderland Zoo. Now, I'm not quite sure what city that was in, but if you wanted to add a city to that, I'm sure you'd be very welcome to. But as long as you got Wonderland Zoo, that's the right answer. And during the 1970s, who lived at number 13 Coronation Street? It was Stan and Hilda Ogden and their family and the various lodgers, including the wonderful Eddie Yates, who I remember particularly well. And our final question. What phrase did Ron Pickering use at the end of every episode of We Are the Champions? And it was, and away you go. And I always wanted to be one of those jumping in the pool, but never happened. So, I'll give you a second to tot up your answers. So how did you do? If you've got 20 out of 20, I am hugely impressed, and you can deservedly feel extremely smug. If you've got over 15, then that's pretty impressive stuff too. If you have more than 10, then that's respectable. Less than 5, well, let's not go there. More homework and revision for you before the next quiz, I think. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know how you got on, how much you scored, who you were playing the quiz with. You can even let me know what you're eating and drinking whilst playing. Also, let me know what you thought of our first quiz on our blog or social media or by emailing quiz@my70stvchildhood.com. We'll be back with a normal podcast next week and with another quiz in a fortnight. Until then, thanks for listening, take care, and join me again soon for more from My 70s TV Childhood.